morning, Rick. Ron, Heidi, congratulations to the association. People pay you guys a tremendous amount of respect, and they should. I have the honor of being district attorney. My
Could you
office
speak
has
closer to the mic?
closer to the mic. Okay. Joni, right? I'm going to address your issue first, because I know you. I have the honor of running one of the largest offices in the country. I think we're 30th in size. I have 125 lawyers, a $20 million budget. Usually when I go and speak publicly, I know there's 3 minutes or 5 minutes, and you're good. You should run for judge. But you know, the conversations typically last a half hour to an hour. But I'm going to address some issues like bail, because I know there's people in this audience that are interested in that. In the early part of my tenure, the Pittsburgh police were arresting people for relatively minor crimes, and people were going to jail. They were going to the county jail because they couldn't make bail. So I petitioned and was successful in having the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania change the rules. So if somebody's a first-time offender for a relatively minor matter or a DUI, you proceed by summons. It's like a traffic ticket. It's not a criminal complaint. So that means I got 25 days, and they have 25 days. Get a lawyer, figure this thing out, find out what the problem is. Why did you come into the criminal justice system? That was a tremendous change. So a magistrate sets bail. And for the last 10 years, the president and judge of the Court of Common Pleas, and you got some very important decisions to make about who you want as your judges. For the last 10 years, there's been 3 conditions, or 3 considerations for bail. One is you are out on your own recognizance, which means you're told what the crime against you, what you're being accused of, and you go. The other is that you have basically house arrest with conditions, or you have no bail at all. And that depends on the seriousness of the crime. But these are all first-time offenses. So when people talk about statistics and that type of thing, we have a lot of people in the county jail who are in there on misdemeanors, but they're multiple-time offenders. Multiple-time offenders. So I can't do anything about that necessarily. Again, judges make decisions. If they put bond on you, or if they put bail, then you violate the conditions of bail. It's up to the judge as to whether or not I get there's so many things I'd like to talk to you guys about. We don't have the time this morning. Usually there's a lot of questions. There was something about the schools and people going to jail from schools. Last year in 2018, 829 delinquency petitions were filed by probation officers against kids for infractions in schools. 8 of those kids were put into placement. 8 kids. And those were extraordinary conditions, and you're good. Does anybody have any questions? Yes, sir.
Why does Allegheny County have almost double the incarceration of black people as opposed to the national average?
Well, we don't take...
What's the question?
The demographic of the county jail. Is that
And
right?
why in Allegheny County it is almost, the jail population is almost double the national average?
In 1982, the legislature decided that judges should not have independent discretion to sentence. And so what they did is they created a series of, began creating a series of statutes that deal with mandatory sentences and sentencing guidelines. 93% of the cases that are handled by judges are within the guidelines. This is involved, but standard range, lower range, below lower range. 93% in Allegheny County. They do what the legislature wants. So when people come in here and ask your consideration to run for the legislature, think about that. Because they wrote the law, they can change the law.
But it's within your discretion to charge or not. And which crimes to charge with?
Typically felonies.
Any crime. If the district attorney does not want to charge an individual with a crime, they are not charged. If they do, they are. That is how it goes.
No.
No?
We proceed based on the evidence.
Okay.
Yeah, there is discretion in what we do in factual.
And which level of a crime someone is charged with? True?
Yeah, in the abstract, that's true. As a reality, an officer brings a case in, and they say, here are the facts. And we ask, what is the evidence that supports what you're saying the facts are? And then we charge based on that evidence. Now, in Allegheny County, by the way, 10,000 cases are diverted annually because somebody comes in for simple possession, somebody comes in as a first-time DUI, and what we do is we divert them out of the system through what's called Phoenix Court or ARD, Accelerated Rehabilitative Disposition. 10,000 cases. Nobody does that. That's okay. Yes, ma'am.
Me?
I thought I addressed your question.
Kind of, but you didn't address this issue. Officer Rostek, who murdered Antoine Jones, was charged. Oh, I'm sorry, Rose. Was prosecuted by your office.
Yes, ma'am.
There's been a lot of question as to why your office did not pursue a more aggressive program, aggressive prosecution, thank you. So could you explain that?
Well, if you don't get the result that people think is appropriate, then it's easy to speculate about those types of things. That's not true. The guys who were actually in the courtroom, they tried almost 200 murder cases. Just the two people that were in the courtroom. That's not the rest of the team that was put together to prosecute that particular case. The problem is, we asked this judge, this particular judge, before trial, we said, we want you to make certain rulings. It's called motions in limine. Make these rulings, one of which was a jury instruction on the use of justification of use of force. He didn't make the ruling. He waits till the jury is impaneled, double jeopardy attaches. I can't appeal. So he's going to tell the jury what the standard is for a police officer's use of force. That was the problem with the case.
But you didn't bring in a counter person to counter the major argument that was made, which was that he had the right to kill him. You
Use
didn't
of
bring
force,
any counter to that.
No, we didn't think we needed to.
Well, you did.
No, we didn't, man.
Why do you think that?
Because we had consulted with the United States Attorney's Office, and the expert that was used by the other side was somebody who we broke down pretty well. I mean, he was not effective at all. And by the way, there was video in North Braddock, there was video in East Pittsburgh. I don't have to tell you, I don't have to lecture you if you can see it. And the video in North Braddock is something I put there, because it's a high crime area. Yes.
One more question.
I'm a parent and an education rights advocate in the Woodland Hills School District. So I have a child who goes to Woodland Hills High School. And I know for the past few years there have been many stories that come out of there about families, children who have been charged after being assaulted by staff and a police officer. All of those children were convicted, but none of the adults were convicted. So this is actually what we call, well, Woodland Hills is considered to be the epitome of the school to prison pipeline. And your office is not charged anyone with that. So will you continue these practices if you are reelected?
Kids that come out of schools and there's a delinquency petition, those are initiated by probation, juvenile probation. So when they come into the system, I have prosecutors, there's 6 courtrooms in family division, in juvenile court. That's the point we have the opportunity to look at the evidence. Woodland Hills has a lot of issues. They have a lot of issues. But if you're telling me these kids are basically adjudicated delinquent based on the allegations, then what are you asking me to do?
I'm asking you to charge police officers and staff when they assault children. That's what we're asking you to
And we
do.
did. We had one down in Racket.
Officer Shawless is still working for the Churchill Police Department. It does not take 2 years for the FBI to do an investigation.
I'm not the FBI.
Right, but you should have done something. He was, if we Google 10 years ago, he also framed a child. And this is public knowledge. Nothing was done. There were many children whose lives were ruined within those 10 years. In the district attorney's office, you have the power to do something, and you didn't need to do anything about that.
That's not true.
And don't pass the buck.
No, the buck stops here. The buck stops here. I'm listening to what you have to say.
All right, time's up.